Now the one-arm handstand is very, very tricky to master, but given enough time and done in the right process, I believe everyone can learn it. But you are looking at around 12 to 24 months average time to get anywhere close to it. But let's go through the steps today. I'm going to go through them really quickly because in a lot of ways it's very simplistic. It's just very challenging to do. Okay, number one, we need a straddle handstand, the easiest position to learn the one arm in. And we need a straddle handstand that acts as one segment, one piece. So this position is locked in. So see how I can move it side to side? It's one piece. Even if I reach it out a little bit this way, I reach out a little bit this way, it acts as this one thing and it's much easier to control. Now everyone's straddle is going to look very different, and as you go through the process of learning the one-arm handstand, it will evolve. But the most important thing is that it doesn't do this and separate and move around. We need it to be locked in like aeroplane wings, and when we move the left side down, the right side comes up, and when we move the right side down, the left side comes up. Now you will see lots of different techniques, but there will be some sort of flag involved. So the flag is the moving over to one side where one side comes down and the other side comes up, and then we just hold that position. So our practice needs to be that. Going over to one side, hold in, go over to the other side, hold again. We need to be able to do that with control and make sure we can come back again. Now most people will tend to do this, or this, or this, and they'll shift over like that. And that's all part of the learning process, but we want to try and hold here, hold there. We can do drills where we set up boxes or targets and try and touch on either side. That works really well. We can play with different hold times, and we can play with repetitions. But we need some sort of flag position. We then need some sort of weight shift. Let's get the right color pen. Now to get technical, what we're aiming for is enough weight shift to get the sacrum, so this part here where the spine meets the pelvis, to go on top of the shoulder, and the shoulder needs to be on top of the hand. And when we align those 3 points, we should have balance and we can hold there for time. Now when we're rebalancing that position, exactly the same as if I rebalance here, I'm going to move those around a little bit. So this shoulder might move side to side a little bit, the hip might move side to side a little bit, even the hand you'll see will turn and move a little bit, but the relationship of those three need to stay roughly stacked 99.9% of the time. So watch my one-arm handstand now and look at those 3 points, the shoulder, the sacrum, and the hand, and you'll see what I mean. So let's go a little bit different. Let's go to diamond. It'll work exactly the same. Stack those 3 points, and now I can hold that position. If I open to straddle, exactly the same. So they're all stacked. Excuse the clicky knees. But when we're learning the one-arm handstand, we're not going to stack all 3 of those at once. We're just going to move closer towards that. So the sacrum, the hips, the legs are going to slowly move over. Now what I mean by that is let's just try and transfer a little bit of weight. Leave both hands on the floor, not going to fingertips. So here, now I'm going to move over a little bit. Now I've got more weight now in my right hand than my left hand. Not enough to lift the hand up, but there's definitely a weight transfer. So if I had my hands on 2 scales, you would see this one increases, this one decreases. Now the risk here is that we do this. So now I'm putting more weight into this foot, but I'm reaching this way, and it'll come to a point where now this goes too far over the top. This goes too far in this direction compared to the base. So too much lateral shift makes it much harder to balance. Now you will see people holding one-arm handstands with more of a flatter straddle position, a bigger gap from their shoulder to their head and their arm, and you'll see their elbow bend. Break dancers do this a lot, and they can balance really nicely. But it does mean that it's a little bit like this, a little bit more dynamic, and normally goes hand in hand with less flag. And you will see when people are learning that there'll be more lateral shift and less of this tight flag position. Now number 4, we want to go up onto fingertips. Fingertips is how we can progress and slowly decrease the balance or the assistance that the other hand is helping with. But the fingertips comes with the straddle, with the flag, with the weight shift, equals the fingertips. The risk is you go to fingertips too early. And this again is all part of learning. You will do this a little bit to start with. So you might go hardly any straddle, hardly any weight shift, up onto fingertips. So I can hold this position, but you can see I'm nowhere near a one-arm handstand. I've just got way too much weight in this hand. Ideally, I will be flagging over I'll be shifting weight, I'll be in the straddle position, and now this hand becomes lighter. I'm not forcing this hand up, which pushes me over in that direction. So let me show you on my bad side. So into straddle first, flag. So a little bit of weight shift. I'm looking down towards that left hand now. I can come up onto fingertips. Now the risk here is when I come up onto fingertips is this shoulder on the right goes much higher than the left. Ideally, we're just going to bend the elbow and that stops that from happening. It'll look a little bit cleaner on my good side. So there. So now you can see both shoulders are more or less in line, not shifted up. I can't actually do that too well because it knocks me out. I don't want the shoulder coming up like this. We want to try as best we can to lift like this. So it looks like this, not like this. Because this is going to make me rotate a lot and really just fall out of position and spiral down. There's a lot going on with the pecs, with the lats, with the traps, all the muscles that surround the shoulder to try and stop you from rotating when you go into one arm. So then when we're learning it, we just spend time in each of these positions. So if we can get to the point where we can hold a very easy 30-second fixed straddle position, if we can do flags on both sides and hold that for around 10 to 15 seconds on either side with control, slowly working a bigger depth, trying to maintain elbows in. So when I flag, the temptation is going to be to do this and bend the elbows and come away like this. Ideally, the elbows will stay fixed even in towards the midline, and then I flag over, whoop, and then I flag over. See, my right elbow now is pushing in towards the midline. It's not popping out. So that's what ideally we'll be doing in the flag position. But that takes time. And because I haven't been doing as many one arms as I used to do, mine's actually getting worse. So I need to police that and get that back. Then we need to start practicing the weight shift. Again, aiming for around 10 seconds each side, just transferring weight, hold there for time, come back again. Then we need to do the same with the fingertips. Again, roughly 10 seconds, but the big thing is showing control and returning back for your working sets. So if I go into straddle, come across, go up onto fingertips, hold here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then return back. Same over on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, return back. And then over time, I just do exactly the same thing, but slowly reduce the amount that this hand is helping me from a balance point of view. Ideally, the 5 fingers would be the same as the 3 fingers, the 2 fingers and the 1 finger in terms of weight. In reality, when you're learning, 5 fingers is going to have more weight in it, 3 fingers is going to have less, 2 fingers, 1 finger. But a good goal is to get to the point where there's no weight in this hand, no weight in these fingers, no matter how many there are, and this is just helping me from a balance point of view. Now, once we've got down to that 1, 2 finger position, we can start playing with some lifts. Now, there's lots of different variations of lifts. A really good one to start with is just to lift the finger up a little bit and come back again. So I would go into my straddle handstand, flag, fingers, finger, and then lift, come back down, lift, come back down. Now, to get any sort of repetitions with that is very, very challenging. I can probably hold a 5 to 10 second one arm handstand easier than I can do those little lifts because there's less room for error because I'm coming back to that one little place for repetition. With the one arm handstand, I can move around a little bit, especially at the moment because my technique isn't great. I'm having to fight the one arm handstand a little bit more. So that's going to actually be a really good drill for me while I'm rehabbing back. And then your other lifts is higher. Now, what we need to be careful of is when we start lifting the hand up higher is what happens with those shoulder positions. We don't want to be throwing the arm up like this and losing the shoulders. We need to try and keep them roughly the same height. So I'll go back into my one arm again, fingertips, fingertip, then lift, trying to keep the shoulder down and back. Lift, trying to keep the shoulder down and back. Lost it a little bit on that second one, but the first one felt pretty good. So again, these are the things that I need to be practicing. Fingertips for 10-second holds, lifts, fingertip, and then the arm lift, both for repetitions. So making sure there's quality. Reps doesn't have an I in it, because we don't want single repetitions. We want to get 3 to 5 repetitions on each side, ideally. And then number 6, the magic, the holds. So holding a full one arm handstand for time. So everyone's first goal is 10 seconds normally. But obviously you could go to 5 seconds as long as you return back again. Let's count it. I was counting 2 or 3 seconds when I was first learning. But let's now see if I can get a 10-second hold on this right side. I haven't got a 10-second hold or even tried it since I had my surgery on my neck. So this will be interesting. Let's see if I can get a 10-second one-arm handstand. Okay, so that counts, I think, probably around 11 or 12. So I'm happy that's still there, but I want that back to being easy. And I was up to 30-second holds on my right side. Let's not talk about my non-dominant side. It took me 2 years longer to get a 10-second on my left side than it did on my right side. Now, if you're after a full program for your one-arm handstand or your other handstands or handstand push-ups, presses, and all the other calisthenics skills, check out my app. If you'd like more of an individualized program, check out my online coaching on my website. Links are all down in the description. Let me know if you have any comments down below, and I'll speak to you in the next one.